All right, we're live. YouTube, can you hear me? Can you see me? Tech problems? Yes, no, let me know. Welcome. Learning about movies, August 2024. Professor Matthews, the channel that analyzes movies, that helps you study and understand movies, blah, blah, blah. I'm here to help you with recommendations for this month. It is always tough to find good movie recommendations. You got the algorithms just giving you the same old, same old. You've got the marketing hype telling you to buy a product that may be terrible. Here I am to curate movie selections for you, sort of, at least to be a little bit of a guide, a Yoda to your hero's journey, as it were. So we're gonna go through Criterion Channel's lineup, and you don't have to subscribe to Criterion Channel. Just go through what they've got there, and a few other little tidbits about movies that I think many people would like and should watch. Promotional Substack there on the screen. You can see it. I'm writing about once a week there. Come straight to your email. You can ignore it. You can love it. It's great. I mean, I like the format of it. It's great. I don't need an editor. That's bad and good for me because sometimes I make mistakes, but who cares? Here's my Substack. I enjoy doing that quite a bit. And then Letterboxd. A lot of people love Letterboxd. I defend it and think it's great for anybody to get on there and write reviews. So you can get on my Letterboxd, in fact, and check that out. So, I was thinking about several questions, and one is like, what's going on in the summer? I know I talk about this sometimes with summer blockbusters, summer movies, and I thought, what happened 30 years ago? I'm pretty old now, so old compared to some people, and so what happened in the summer of 1994, 30 years ago? Because I'm looking at this summer going, I'm not really wanting to see anything. I I've been lax in doing new movie reviews. Apologies for that, because I keep running into not family problems, but just family things. I'm a dad, lots of kids, so I deal with things that just come up last minute. Need to take care of the kids, and I spend some time with them. Various sort of middle class bourgeois sort of tasks. Okay, so I haven't been to a bunch of these things. Fall Guy, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, the Pixar movie, If. Went to Furiosa, I went to Deadpool, but I've been ignoring a lot of these. Part of the reason why is they're not signaling they're that interesting to me, because they're sort of, and some of you who follow this channel can tell, I do not like commercial products that are obviously commercial products. Giant studios making products you should buy, and then sort of like digging their brand claws into you. That's why I've objected to the Deadpool movie, the Barbie to some extent. I'm too Gen X for them maybe, and I don't particularly like that sort of thing. But yet, here we go with sequels, with rehashes. I've complained about that ad infinitum in the last several months on this channel, but, who can't look at this and go, what's going on here? A lot of horror movies, of course, and sequels to sequels. I didn't see the Costner movie. That does intrigue me just because of the time period, which I know quite a bit about. So there you go. We'll see if that's any good. But I haven't gotten the time to do 3 hours of that, and it's still like $20 to rent. But I'm looking at this going, man. Okay, what was it like back when I was a kid, teenager? What was it like this bad? Is this as bad as I think it is? So just earlier today, in fact, about 2 minutes ago, I shifted this again. I looked at the summer box office for 1994, which of course, if you go look it up, it's a movie year that is lauded to the stars, like one of the best movie years ever. Some people say it's the best ever. So maybe it's unfair to compare this year, 1994, to 2024. Okay, I get that. Fine, but I think I could do this exercise for any 80s, 90s, 2000s year, and it would probably end up being, in fact, 2017, if I remember correctly. That was pretty good. 2018, there's a lot of good stuff coming out in the summer. It looked interesting, relatable, adult. Okay, so I looked this up, and first of all, I think none of these, well, there's Beverly Hills Cop, but you'll find a couple of exceptions, but none of these are like franchise material or sequels. They're not even interested in intellectual property stuff, which is what Deadpool is, branding in IP stuff. That's what Hollywood's number one thing is. Can we have our own intellectual property and own it and promote it and make buku bucks out of all the spin-offs off that stuff? So The Lion King. It's a Disney movie. I got to think about that. No, that's not IP at this moment. Forrest Gump, True Lies, Flintstones is. Okay, I'll give you that one. But all of these are like scenarios that writers dreamed up, and we're interested in new movies that may say something to us for now, and they may be exciting. We have great stars in them. And I'm looking at this going, wow, this is incredible because, let me shrink it. There we go. Okay. So if you look at the release dates, you go, man, every week, every 2 weeks, there was something. And something interesting. If you're into movies for the sake of movies, whether it's big stars, whether it's possible terrible blockbusters, whether it was new interesting material, every 2 weeks, every week even, something. And then you compare it to this year and you go, man, this is like, this year is, I hope they improve. I hope Hollywood is not just, the movie industry in general, not just crashing. Although some financial signs say they kind of sort of are. But maybe this is their problem, that they're not making movies for people, new, exciting sorts of ventures, artwork, and so on. Clear and present danger, okay? That's IP, okay? It's Tom Clancy. But, I mean, that's at least an adult thriller sort of movie. Where are those at right now? Don't know. It came out on August 5th. It'd be about today, as of this viewing of this video. You had Forrest Gump in July 6th. You had True Lies, yeah, July 15th. You had The Lion King earlier in the summer. Speed was that summer. The Mask, okay, that's Jim Carrey's. Maybe you hate that, maybe Carrey, but he was well known, becoming a big star at that point. Maverick would have been cool at that point, May 20th. And you go on and on. You go all the way down the list. Like, some of these are kind of interesting in their own ways, depending on the audience. And these are all for all kinds of people. I mean, blown away there on July 1st. Like, I would have gone to see that if they come out with a movie with that premise this summer. And there's nothing like that out there. Wyatt Earp came out. I know that was a bomb. Natural Born Killers is going to come out on August 26th. And so on and so forth. So we can do this for any summer. Let's do it at random. In fact, I haven't even prepped for this. The year I graduated high school. Let's check this out. This may be worse, maybe better. I don't know. Okay, there's a Batman movie. I'd say this is a little worse if I just glance at it. Oh, there's a sequel to Speed. Yeah, maybe a little bit worse overall, but still. Men in Black is new. Air Force One is new. Best Friends Wedding is new. Face Off is new. Con Air is new. Man, Nicolas Cage was going strong. Did he really have 2 movies that summer? No. 2 movies in 3 weeks? Nicolas Cage? I love Con Air for it's one of the most ridiculous over-the-top things ever. But this is Contact, conspiracy theory, yeah. Copland. I really like Copland. Anyway, all right. So, anyway, that's just my complaint. Complain about what's coming out. I did not watch Twisters. I've heard that's pretty decent. I'm thinking about, do I want to go to Borderlands? The video game cursed movie. Alien Romulus. And look, there's our 1994 movie being remade, The Crow. Okay, so we're back in 1994 apparently. Beetlejuice. All right, stop complaining, Matthews. We're done with this. So Criterion Channel. I love this because when you go to Criterion Channel, they don't sponsor me, by the way. You check out what they've got. Leaving, you hear me say this a lot if you've seen the live stream. Leaving the channel and what's newly added. Those are good places to check out things for yourself. I like the what's leaving because it helps me understand what I probably should watch because, I might not see it again for a while on streaming. If it's leaving Criterion, it may be nowhere else. So here's what's leaving this month. You've got, as of this video, 25 days to check this out on Criterion Channel. We'll see if this is any good. But Clockwork Orange, there it sits. I'm sure most of you have seen this. If not, it's a classic in the canon, I suppose, because a lot of movie makers quote it. But we'll go down here real quick. I do like Paul Schrader's Blue Collar. His first movie, the writer of Taxi Driver, Raging Bull. I'm getting confused now. Didn't he write Raging? Anyway, Taxi Driver. Paul Schrader directs Blue Collar, his first movie. I was just saying to a colleague in the parking lot the other day how actually this movie is pretty good because he was complaining about hardcore. It's not as good as he thought. it would be. I said, well, this movie is pretty good. I find this worthy and interesting, and talking about stuff that is not talked about much these days, working class conditions, critique of class in America, that sort of thing. So there you go. I recommend that. Oh, I've not seen 1 hour photo. Have you seen that? I know this is Robin Williams doing like psychotic serial killer sort of thing. Is he really working at Sawmart? I'm not sure what store that's supposed to be. That, by the way, that couldn't be more of a dated movie. Like, I probably am saying something I don't know anything about, but who goes and develops photos anymore? Back in the day, you had to take your actual film to a store and get it developed, and it may take a day or a week, and you had to go back and get it. But if you had 1 hour photo, you'd only have to wait an hour for your film to develop. Now, who cares because of phones, right? So there you go. With 1 hour photo, I don't know if that's one of the more dated movies. It's going to be like a 90s internet movie. It's like so dated, it's going to be ridiculous. Yeah, Rear Windows there. Everyone should watch that. And I did not look at this at all. So this is just totally off the cuff. Forbidden Planet, probably worth watching as an old-timey science fiction thing. There's not a lot of good, thoughtful science fiction, and the effects in this. I think this is the first movie, is it, with synthesizers? The first movie with a synthesizer score? That's my memory of this movie. It helped inspire Star Trek, Gene Roddenberry. Oh, there's Hardcore. Okay, there you go. I would recommend Blue Collar over Hardcore, but early Paul Schrader's here with Cat People up there. And then they're bringing out... They have a Wes Anderson movie here, but they're bringing out Paul Thomas Anderson as well on the Criterion Channel. So they're trying to compete with various big-time channels. I have not seen Autofocus with Paul Schrader, so this seems interesting to me. Is this another photo movie? A camera movie? I can't remember. Yeah. I haven't seen that one either. Okay, some Paul Schrader is leaving. The Thief is great. Oh, okay, there we go. I don't really have a good comment for this, except viewers beginning of my channel several years ago said, you must watch this. Once Upon a Time in America, or Once Upon a Time in, by Sergio Leone, Once Upon a Time in the West, Once Upon a Time in America. If you have a free 4 hours, this is worth pursuing. It is a very, very good and rich movie. What can one say about it? Because 4 hours, it's hard for me to grasp it all. And so I need to do a rewatch deep dive that would take a ton of time. But I think if you like Leone, I think if you like 80s, what's interesting to me is it knows, I like this about great movies. It knows the Godfather movies are in the past. Some other famous mobster movies. It knows the Godfather movies are sitting there 10 years earlier, right? And so it's doing stuff with that material that is quite an interesting twist on it. And Leone's own take, and he's in a conversation with those movies, which is fun to watch, in my opinion. It's thoughtful, it's provoking. He's not just rehashing mobster movies because they're cool or people really love them. So I like that about this movie in particular. Now, I say that. I'll come back to this in a second. I'm intended to introduce this movie to you at some point, so let's do it now. Here's a movie everybody watching this should try. It's low risk, in my opinion, especially for cinephiles. If you want an entertaining like Friday night movie with your family and your grandmother, this is probably not going to be it. But for a lot of people who sit down and watch a thoughtful, interesting, artistically awesome movie, this is it. Let's see if I can hold it up here. So I just watched this week, and then I instantly got the Blu-ray because it's great. Some of you have heard of this. Terence Davies is a British director. The Long Day Closes, his second feature. This movie is spectacular in a lot of ways. If you like Tarkovsky, if you like Malick to some extent, this is not exactly like that. A little bit of like Tarkovsky and Ken Loach put together. And what I'm saying about this is you've seen a movie like this. Whoops, there you go. No glare. a British coming of age story in the 40s or 50s. Like what is a boy's life in the 40s or 50s like for for I think it is after World War II for people, boys in Great Britain. I've seen this in boys in Europe stories, coming of age stories in Europe. I've seen that movie 100 times, maybe 500 times. And so Terrence Davies does his own sort of jazz riff on this. And if you know the beats of those stories, his aesthetic choices are awesome. His thoughtfulness is awesome. And it's an answer to a lot of questions in the boys' life tales. And it's in a conversation. It's definitely in a conversation with Ken Loach, in my opinion. And this sort of, so 85 minutes long. 85 minutes, you got 85 minutes, probably. Not the 4-hour deal like Once Upon a Time in America. See this movie. It is on Criterion Channel. I don't know where else it is, but it's one of those movies where I watch and I go, I have to have this for the channel because I do cover movies, but also just for my own personal edification. I will rewatch it. I'll go put it on the big screen again because it's really, really darn good. Captivating, a haunting, wonderful ending. I love the ending. It's music-wise, music choices and where they're at, fantastic. It's a great movie. Long Day Closes. That's my one recommendation. It's risk-free for most of you. Okay. Got some questions over there in the chat. We'll get to those in a minute. Thank you very much. Sophie's Choice. I don't love this movie. It is in the American Film Institute's top 100 movie list. So you can either go with what I say or what they say, but I don't know, worth a shot. Maybe for some of you. I like Alan Pakula. The Master. Now I see in the chat over there we have a Age of. Didn't like The Master, found it boring and dull. Yeah, I totally get that. There, it's like I have a video on The Master. It's a fantastic movie for me. Again, another movie that answers is a conversation with previous movies. I suppose you have to like Joaquin Phoenix or the subject matters, topics involved. But man, do I love this movie. I think it's great. So there you go. Hello in the chat. And The Lady Killers, which The Long Day Closes quotes. Now, if you want a risk-free movie, low risk, risk-free, watch it with yourself, watch it with your family, watch it with your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your whatever, your dog, your dog's boyfriend, The Lady Killers. I don't see how you can't just kind of sort of like this movie. This is not the Coen Brothers version. This is the 50s Ealing Studios version. I have crowed about this movie on the channel. I probably haven't done it enough because this is one of my favorites, period, ever. I don't know, is it top 200? No idea. But it is always watchable. The performance by the main character in this, the older female, it's so natural. It's wonderful. Alec Guinness is hilarious. Peter Sellers is in it. 4 criminals go stay at a lady's house, and they realize they have to go kill her as they're going to go try to rob a bank. She's so sweet that it's going to be hard to kill her. Anyway, El Norte, the best immigration movie ever. You may disagree with it, all of it, some of it, but at least American immigration movie. I don't know why they haven't made one like this or with the same tones. Immigration is such a huge topic, south of the border immigration from Mexico to the U.S. This movie still captures some of the problems and romanticism and dire straits of all that. I recommend this movie entirely. I probably disagree with it to some extent. I can't remember what, but really interesting artistic movie. 3-piece, 3-act structure that is like crazy final shot. How can you go wrong with it? Like, who cares about the summer blockbusters? Right? Some people like Drive My Car. I reviewed that on Letterboxd. I probably need to rewatch it. Oh, and Lynn Ramsey's Morvern Caller is very, very good. Very good. So here, I always need to show up here. I always have stuff to say. Let's look at what's added. I'm just curious what they're putting on the channel. Blow Up. This ends up being a video. I did a video on Blow Up. It's a Hitchcockian thriller, but no, it's really slow Antonioni thing. And a lot of people love to comment on that video. I think because the ending is ambiguous and what its claims to morality are ambiguous or provocative. So I suggest this if you are into what? Arty movies. Just go watch it. Blow up. But not if you're in the mood for a Friday night romp. If you want to watch True Lies, go watch that. Don't watch this. But something that's thought provoking, you can go with the pace of it. I think Blow Up is great. Anyway, these are added to the channel. I have not seen Capote, so let's put that on the list. They put some Paul Thomas Anderson movies on here. And if you, by the way, chat people, you're great. People on this channel watching this stuff, great. If you see anything here you like, let us know. I think that the Palm Beach story is pretty good. I think that's the one I kind of like. Now this could take a while, so we probably won't sit here and scroll because I see this director, Yusuf Shaneen. I will not pronounce that. I just tried to, but that was stupid. Who may be great, but I am not familiar with this director. You tell me whether this is any good. Oh, that looks interesting. I'll put that in the watch list. Some of these look curious. So anyway, there you go. There will be, they put There Will Be Blood on the channel. Oh, there you go. I haven't seen that. So, by the way, my relationship to There Will Be Blood, I have a dictum, a saying, I should probably make a video on this. Never watch a movie that portrays your profession. Never watch a movie that portrays your profession. Now, of course, when I say never, I don't really mean never. I mean, generally speaking, most of the time it's a little bit dangerous, in fact, quite a bit dangerous, to watch a movie that shows your profession. I happen to be a teacher, an educator, so when I see movies about teachers and educators, most of them are exaggerating or lying. They're way too... They don't get the mundane details right, and usually they romanticize things. Usually teachers can never do whatever we see in the movies, and you never have those interactions as a teacher. So that takes me out of the movie spirit, It gets me out of the need to suspend my disbelief. So I just don't like most teacher movies. There is an exception. There's a wonderful French movie from the 2000s or 2010s called The Class. So that is one to watch. Go watch The Class. Wonderful movie. It won awards. It might have won the Palme d'Or. I can't remember. So this will surprise some of you. I used to work in the oil field for a couple of years between my dissertation and getting a full-time college prof gig. I worked in an oil field. Now, it wasn't under those conditions as There Will Be Blood is, which is early 20th century. This was a little bit more high-tech, but still it had some of the trappings, I suppose, of There Will Be Blood. So when I watched There Will Be Blood, I'm like, I don't know. It was, and by the way, I've been in charismatic churches before. I'm not a charismatic Christian, but I've seen these people. I've seen their worship services. And that's another, obviously, main character, a huckster preacher sort of type in this movie. And I go, well, both of these worlds, I don't know. This movie gets it right, or this movie's even close, or maybe this movie just hates both worlds. And this movie's always grated me a little bit because of its portrayal of two things I kind of sort of know decently okay. The oil field world, at least where I was working, and sort of the Christian church circle thing. But anyway, I should retry this because I said to you I love The Master and I like Magnolia. I probably should rewatch that. I have not in a long time seen it. In fact, I think I haven't seen it since it came out. Have you seen There Will Be Blood? Of course you have. Of course you have. I love Hail the Conquering Hero. It's a fantastic comedy movie. They got a lot of Preston Sturges. I got a video on Preston Sturges. So who needs new movies when there's so many great old movies? If movies disappeared, new movies stopped being made, we would have enough to last us 5 lifetimes. I have not seen Haywire. Soderbergh? Ewan McGregor? Fassbender? Why haven't I heard of this? Probably because I had 3 kids under 3 years old at that point in time. Anyway, there's so much stuff. It is so crazy how many wonderful things there are out there. So we should be optimistic about movies. The future of movies, I'm optimistic about the future of movies. Welcome to you all. Thanks for watching. This is great. So many people here. Let's check out the chat. Not a ton of questions, which is fine because I can't spend a ton of time here. But yeah, there you go. Subscribe to Substack, which I will leave up there, and Letterboxd. Family comes first is a fair motto, especially when sequels and movies like Deadpool and Wolverine seem to be the only thing anyone is watching nowadays. It's always like, should I go to the latest Pixar movie, Inside Out 2, or should I spend some time with my kids? Yeah, my kids won't be around for very long. Supposedly 80 to 90% of the time that you see your own children is age 18 and under in your life. You get what I'm saying? Like, the amount of time I see my children in my life, 80 to 90% of it is when they're under age 18. So maybe I ought to soak up those years. Maybe I just ought to do that. And sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. So I'm not sure when I'm a failure and when I'm not. But I did mostly this summer messing around with my kids. We play video games. Yeah, it's fun. My kid wants to watch Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. You know, I turned him on to Rise of the Planet of the Apes. He has not seen Dawn and he has not seen War. I think all my children could watch these, but I'm a little worried about how dark Dawn and War are. But Kingdom, which is now on video on demand, is pretty tempting, I must say. So I probably will see that. Recommendations for psychological horror thrillers. Oh my gosh, really? You know, you can go to my Letterboxd, you can go to my neo-noir page. I made a list of neo-noir. It's definitely not even close to complete, but I bet half of those movies would fit what you would want. Now, most of the people in this channel who have been here a long time know I'm not really into horror, but gross out, over-the-top, effects horror. But you say psychological horror. You know, I've recommended a lot of stuff. By the way, I have not updated this. This is going to look disgusting and gross. I shouldn't say that to prime you, but if I go to my own website, I haven't updated this in a long time. This is going to be a little tough, but somewhere on, I don't have the right view. Oh, that's where it's going to be. If you go to my website, you find a list of what makes this movie great videos. Obviously, you can search the YouTube page. But on my website, I've put many up through maybe September, October last year. All the movies I did videos on. So if I scroll through this, psychological horror, The Night of the Hunter, Harakiri, sort of. Obviously, Rear Window, Notorious, Carnival of Souls, weird movie. Try it. Psycho, obviously, sitting there. I've always recommended Mother by Aronofsky with an apostrophe. I really like that movie a lot. Most people don't, but I think that's good. I should probably come up with a list for you. I think those are good adult thriller types of things that I like the idea of, at least. So that's a great question. But you can go to this page and check them out. I have several list pages that I need to update before the school year starts. In 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, because I think these lists are helpful and handy. There you go. Forgotten Classics. Body Double probably is a psychological thriller type of thing, I think. One False Move certainly is. So anyway, you can go on there and try to see what you can find there. Oh, Killing of a Sacred Deer. Absolutely. I'm going to do an A24 deal. In fact, probably on Substack at some point, I'll do my top 20 list of A24 studio movies. A video on that will be coming out much later in the year. I really like that movie a lot, Killing of a Sacred Deer. That's very good. Thank you for reminding me of that. That's helpful. Let's keep going. Chat questions. Okay, we watched Once Upon a Serious Man. Yes. Yes. You know, Serious Man is a very good movie. That period of Coen Brothers I've praised repeatedly. From No Country for Old Men to their last movie, maybe their last movie, The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. I really like that period of the Coen brothers the best, which may be not what other people would say. Fargo, Big Lebowski, those are all fine and great. Maybe the earlier stuff, but I like that period. And in that period, A Serious Man is sitting there, and it's not the movie you expect from the Coens, but they do what they want. I think it's really. I'm really into Jewish American literature. You know, I just read a Philip Roth novel. I love Roth, so to me, that movie is in that mode and having a conversation with that material. And I think it's really interesting. I don't know how much of it is biographical because it takes place in Minnesota. The ending is fantastic. I love Serious Man. Now the thing is, I'm always worried about I'm going to do too many Coen brother videos. So I've got a video coming out on The Man Who Wasn't There. So I'm like maybe trying to do one a year, right? And not do too many Coens because I could do a lot of them. I want to do Burn After Reading. I want to do the one you just said, Serious Man. So we'll get to it one of these years or decades. Favorite musical, modern and classic. Yeah, you know, are you on my Discord when you ask favorite musical? Because it's well known on my Discord that I dislike musicals. I think characters breaking into song and interrupting everything, or movies that are just about the songs and the moments where characters interact via song or dance or both. I think that's disruptive to me. It's like a cutscene in a video game, you know, not so good video games. What is my favorite musical? Since we're on the Coen brothers, it might be Inside Llewyn Davis. That's a musical. There are a lot of musicals like that. They're sort of pseudo musicals or sneaky musicals. David Byrne's True Stories is probably a musical like that. A lot of biopics are. Walk the Line, the Johnny Cash one is. No, let's do this. Okay, well, I've never done this here. Why not? Who cares? We're just doing it. I'm looking at the last comment there. Best movie musicals. I'm not going to like most of these. I haven't liked most of them. I don't really even care for Wizard of Oz. Oops. We'll just go with the top. No, not Reddit. What does IndieWire say? This is going to take forever to get all the way down there to the bottom. Oh, we're going to have Bollywood in here. Okay. You think these writers really watch the Bollywood stuff? All the Bollywood stuff. All that jazz. There you go. There you go. See, that's another one I wouldn't think of as a musical, but it is. I don't think of it like Sound of Music or The Music Man or Oklahoma or, you know, whatever like that. All that jazz. Very good. Well, Dancer in the Dark? I guess so. Again, Umbrella, yeah, that's pretty good. Oh, and Nashville? I don't know if that qualifies. Yeah, I think this is cheating. Do you think Nashville's a musical? I'm not really sure. I don't know. Yeah, they're cheating. Now we're going through some classic ones that I'm be like, well, Red Shoes, good. Anyway, Purple Rain. Yeah, okay. See, they're with me on this. That so there are musicals that you don't think of as musicals, but there they are on the list. So yeah. But the straightforward classic movie musicals. What I tend to do is I go online and I just search for on YouTube Gene Kelly dancing. I just don't watch Singing in the Rain. I just watch the dance numbers once again, because I've already seen them. So that's the answer to the question. Now, I'm going to have to really think about this on the musical front. My kids have not seen There Will Be Blood. No. So, I'm in a tricky dad scenario where my youngest is 10, my oldest is 17. So if you show movies for the 17-year-old, you're like probably making a asylum case out of the 10-year-old, So you don't really have I don't really have time to say, hey, 17-year-old, let's go sit and watch this in secret from the 10-year-old. There's various things you could do to separate them and show them different movies, but that's a tricky, and I've always had this, a tricky divide between children. It's really much easier when you show all the children, all the family, the same movie, which obviously movie musicals are good for, I think. Anyway, lots of great questions here. Oh, and of course, Joker 2 is coming out soon, which is going to be a weirdo musical. So we'll see how that goes. Daniel Houston says, just discovered Martin McDonagh. Like, as in yesterday or last week or last year? Is that what just discovered means? Martin McDonagh, one of my modern favorites. I defend him to death. I love every movie he's ever made. So good. What did I do? Videos on what, though? I can't remember. 2 days ago. Enjoy your life. 7 Psychopaths in Bruges. Good job. Yeah. Anyway, if you want to discover stuff, go check out my excuse me. Check out my website, which I need to update so badly. It's pathetic. Underrated films. Yeah. But I need to redesign it somewhat. But what makes this movie great, you look at this and you go, okay, maybe I'll try that, maybe not. But these are all the videos I've made on various films of varying qualities, because in my early days, my video quality wasn't as good as it is now. Anyway, thanks for watching. I really appreciate everyone here. Love the movies. Love talking about old movies, newer movies, etc. Substack, Letterboxd. You're all great. Really appreciate your time. And yeah, we'll see you next. The live stream, as far as the live stream goes, see you next month at least. Write into me. Let me know. I've gotten some great emails lately, so I really appreciate various viewer reactions and to many of the things that I've done. So thank you very much. Have a great day. Please subscribe. See you later.